How do you know when someone is a keeper? What are key signs you look for when considering if someone is worth your time/a relationship? I've, F19, wasted so much time and energy on boys who didn't truly value, respect, and love me. I feel like I have always jumped into relationships without evaluating whether it will be healthy or successful relationship because I enjoy the attention and companionship. As someone who is in the process of personal growth and self-love, I would like advice of how to know when someone is truly worth your time. Too often in my past I have made this evaluation based off my own feelings/emotions rather than a logical consideration of their actions and any signs/flags. Too long didn't read. I want to learn what are logical signs and actions that one can use to determine if somebody is worth your time or a keeper. Please share with me key signs/things you look for when determining if a relationship is worth it or if somebody is a keeper. For me, the first thing about my partner which made me think green flag was quite early on. Noting we had known each other as friends for 3 years, but early on in the dating bit, he said something kind of shitty to me and I said, "That's not fair, I feel like you're being manipulative" with that comment, and he said, without skipping a beat, "Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, I felt hurt and I wanted to hurt you back" as a knee-jerk response. That's not how I want to be and I'll try not to do that again. I was flawed. After years of gaslighting and refusing to take responsibility with my ex, honesty and humility and openness to owning his part in things was a major win. It's unachievable to seek perfection in a partner. Humans are fallible and emotional and we say dumb shit, but the way he just owned up to what went on for him, that's the emotional awareness and availability that is absolutely necessary in a good relationship in my opinion. I'm sure there are more that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but here are some green flags in a relationship. Doesn't get angry. Someone can be upset, but if they get really worked up and angry, or in general tend to lose control of themselves emotionally, it's a red flag. Communicates when they are upset, again, without getting angry, approaches problems from a us versus the problem perspective as opposed to me versus you, more relevant in older relationships. Doesn't always fold and capitulate when you disagree with something. That never ends well. It's a sign that things will build up into resentments, and the person is not being honest with you. Does sometimes change their minds based on something you say, or appreciates and listens to your perspective. Teaches you new things and is interested in learning. Literally, is this person a good person? If a partner treats you well, that's one thing. A good person tries to treat all people, and animals, well. This doesn't mean they need to like everyone or be friends with everyone, but it means that they need to have a goal of doing good for others and never have a goal of harming others. Those are keepers. Is interested in improving as a person. For example, if you ask them how have you changed over the years, it's a green flag when one of the things they come up with includes how they used to be X way but then tried to improve. Almost everyone acted stupidly when they were younger, but it's a green flag when someone is comfortable opening up about their past flaws. It makes it more likely that they are comfortable acknowledging their current flaws and working on them. Check out the website Love is Respect. They have lots of sources about healthy relationships. Wow, I've been on this site for the last 15 minutes and it is super helpful and informative. I will definitely be using it as a resource in the future. Thanks for telling me about it. They treat you with respect. This includes respecting your time and your boundaries and your opinions. You can disagree without it devolving into a huge argument. You feel safe with them all the time. Neither of you are jealous or play games. If they don't meet this criteria, don't stay and hope they change. Just leave. I, 37F, want my relationship to work, but he, 36 meters, often blames me for illogical things when stressed. Counseling. I have been with him for 6 years. Some quick background, I have a job that is much less stressful than his. He has a high stress, high paying job. He also wants a lot more stuff in life. Big house, fancy car, vacations. I'm just mentioning this because I don't want it to seem that I am asking him to live in this high-stress environment. He insists on it. He gets stressed out a lot, both with work and by fighting with various family members, and is unable to cope with stress. We've tried various methods to lower his stress, but inevitably he faces stress and he reacts very poorly. And if I'm around, it usually involves blaming me in one way or another. For example, he recently became stressed out while submitting his invoices/expenses for work. He snapped at me that I should be looking after this for him. I told him I'm happy to help, but I need clear direction on how to do it. He just tells me it isn't rocket science. When I tell him that I don't even know the expenses, he has a lot of people who purchase things on his behalf which he then submits for. He just said that I already know the people who purchase for him and should be contacting them myself each week to ask for a list. 1. He's never asked me to do this. 2. I actually don't know all the people who are involved in his projects. I've never met any of them. I do see emails that he CCs me on here and there. I would feel strange just randomly emailing people at his job asking these questions, but if he sets it up so that is what I'm supposed to do, I'm happy to do so. He also became very angry with me recently because he didn't pay an insurance premium that he needs to pay for his job. I've never been involved in paying it, etc. He has paid it himself long before I even knew him. He missed paying it, and when they contacted him he blamed me. He told me that I'm incompetent and he needs someone supportive. I would happily look after this for him had he just asked me to, but he never has. Finally, he has a shop and he recently got a notice that he hadn't paid hydro and it was a final notice. His bills go to the shop so I don't see them. We were together and he paid it online. Great. Well, apparently it takes several business days to go through, so they cut the hydro at the shop. He was then incredibly stressed, understandable, but blamed me for it. He said I should have called them to let them know he had made a payment. He hadn't asked me to do that, nor did I even realize it was the final notice. He still felt it was my fault. These are just a few examples, but this type of thing happens on a regular basis. He also will blame me for random things all the time, not only related to secretarial type things. He regularly tells me I waste my time in a job that doesn't pay a lot instead of just living to support him. He says he pays for my lifestyle. He does pay a lot of the bills, but it's his choice to have very expensive things that I can't pay for. I've never asked for any of this and I have on occasion suggested a more modest lifestyle where I could contribute equally. I just don't know. I'm happy to help him but he never clearly explains what he wants me to do. He just gets mad after the fact. I sort of feel like this is emotional abuse but I'm unsure. Talking to him doesn't get us very far because there are always new things that pop up for him to be angry about. Does it sound like counseling could fix this? He definitely has a blamer type of personality even when I know I'm not actually at fault. He has always relied heavily on his parents to fix his issues, and they always have, even when it is due to him being irresponsible. How on earth can I navigate this type of dynamic to avoid constantly being blamed for issues of his own creation? Too long didn't read. How can I learn to live with someone who has a knee-jerk reaction to blame me for everything? Look up the salaries for personal assistants and secretaries. The next time he gets pissy, show him the numbers and tell him you don't work for free. But seriously, you have to stop even thinking about helping with this stuff. You need to be upfront and clear that you are not there to work for him and the blame game needs to stop. If he won't listen, leave. That's really the only way to navigate this relationship. I have to ask you this. Why do you want this relationship to work? He sounds awful and sexist. You shouldn't have to learn to live with someone like this. He shouldn't be like this. He's a garbage person. This isn't just a matter of irrational blaming. You're dating a man who thinks it's the woman's job to read his mind and take care of anything he doesn't take care of, regardless of his ability to communicate that expectation to her. There is a real risk that no matter what you say or do, As long as you stay with him, he will attempt to enforce this imaginary girlfriend employment contract of his where you owe him your labor in any and all aspects of his life, on demand, at any moment. That's a fundamental values problem, not a communication problem. He doesn't want your help or your support as a partner, he expects your labor as a subordinate who specializes in all of his personal needs. He expects his partner, the woman, to live her life a step behind him, picking up after him in every aspect of his personal and professional life, and anticipating all his possible needs. Even if he gets better about communicating what he would like help with, this fundamental attitude towards your worth in the relationship, and your labor, is a big, big problem unless you intend to make his happiness your primary job in life. Sounds like your BF thinks of you as his unpaid intern, not his girlfriend. The problem isn't that he's bad at communicating, it's that he treats you like his subordinate at work and not as his equal in your romantic relationship. This sounds bizarre to me. You have your own goddamn job, you are not his servant. I don't know how you are tolerating this. My hubby has pulled off the odd WTF moment similar to this, but not as a matter of routine like this sounds it is. I think for your mental well-being you need to get away from this. My BF, 18M, was texting other girls to hook up. I, 19F, need help. Yesterday I received an Instagram DM from a girl saying, "Hi, I thought you should know. Boyfriend has been hitting up girls including myself," and had a screenshot of him saying trying to fuck to her. She said he also called her friend to come hook up. We've been dating for 1 month and it's been such a good month. I had really bad relationship anxiety before him and I finally found someone I felt so comfortable with, and I pushed past all of my commitment issues and anxiety for this guy. Everything was seriously perfect. When I confronted him about it, he said when he drinks and does party drugs he blacks out, and that's when he was calling these girls to come hook up. In response I said, "Why do you get that fucked up anyway? And why not just call me if you want to have sex?" He said, "I don't know who I am when I'm blacked out like that." He said I'm the best thing that's walked into his life and he really cares about me, and that he really doesn't want to write off this relationship. I really don't want to either, but I don't feel like I have much of a choice when this happens only a month in. I'm just heartbroken and don't want to lose him because our relationship was so good, and I'm afraid I'll have too much relationship anxiety to ever try again. I was so comfortable with him, which is so rare for me. Can someone tell me he's a piece of shit? I know I deserve better and he needs to learn a lesson. But fuck, I don't want to break it off. I miss him so much already. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend of 1 month blacks out and messages other girls asking to hook up. 2 weekends in a row. I need confirmation that I'm making the right choice. He's a total boss. It's been a month and he's already trying to cheat. Leave before you get more attached and find someone who is at least halfway decent. I mean, you're lucky none of these girls agreed to meet him. What happens when he is high and one of the girls he texts decides it's a good idea? Do you really want to be in a relationship that you need to rely on other girls being as nice as these were? Because you definitely can't trust your BF, so it's on them to refuse his proposals. He says he only does it when he is high. I seriously doubt he's willing to stop using drugs for a 1 month relationship, so yeah. This is going to keep happening until he finally does cheat. If you do decide to stay with him, I hope you are protecting yourself, because if he is that out of himself when he cheats, he probably won't even use a condom. But the point remains that all of this should not be anything you have to worry about in a relationship. Yes, he is a piece of shit and you can do better. There are plenty of good people in this world who won't cheat on you 1 month in.